Hello everyone and welcome to another Top 5 Records video, and another one in the series in which I'm taking a closer look at the full discography of the Rolling Stones. And until this point I have almost talked about 20 years of Rolling Stone history in about 2 weeks. And now we are fully entering the 80s with this album, Undercover. Now, this might be their first real 80s album. Maybe a bit of a strange statement, but Emotional Rescue was recorded in the 70s and released in 1980. And the album after that, Tattoo You, is much more a collection of 70s songs and backing tracks, which there were other instruments and vocals added in the early 80s. But this marks the first time, Tattoo You, that the Rolling Stones stepped back into the studio together as a band to record new material and to decide what they want to sound like in the 80s. And that decision was made, or basically that was thought about. And with thought, I'm not saying thought, but thought. Fighting was going on. This is at the beginning of the notorious Richards-Jagger problematic area. What was going on? Keith Richards was getting above his drugs habit. The 70s for him were a period in which he was very much involved with drugs, and he was a little less involved in the artistic progress of the Rolling Stones. So Mick Jagger basically had more creative control. At the release of Undercover, or at the start of working on Undercover, Richards wanted to get more involved. And that was not what Mick Jagger was waiting for. What was going on? Mick Jagger enjoyed the new vibe of making a bit more dance music. He wanted to make more roots and reggae music. And Keith Richards wanted to get back to the blues and country influences. So these two guys were basically becoming opposites of each other. So what does that do with the album? I'll get into that in a bit. What I have here is a first Dutch pressing in near mint state. And having a near mint copy here is really fun because you can clearly see that 40 years the 40 years since its release, it has been almost untouched, and I'm afraid I know why it has almost been untouched. And finding a near mint copy of this album is not that hard, really, at least not where I live in Amsterdam. Some interesting artwork. There's also a lyric sheet over here. This was with the cover, and here the lyric sheet. And well, why do I think it's obvious why this record has almost not been touched? It's not such a good album, and it's widely considered not a very good album. So I was kind of reluctant to start listening to this, and my opinion is that no, this is not a Rolling Stones album like the others. Although I do think that Emotional Rescue already has a little bit of fatigue in there and is not a bad album, but the idea that a Rolling Stones album is a real big event, that's not the case in Emotional Rescue, and the same can be said for this. The record, though, is a little bit more diverse than Emotional Rescue. It's definitely not as good as Tattoo You, but the songwriting is just... yeah, there are some dance beats, and you can hear that the Rolling Stones are influenced by the 80s and 80s sounds, so that's going on, and it's not a record I hate. I'm not there. I don't hate it. I actually liked Undercover of the Night, the first song, the title track. Not the title track, the title track is Undercover. And this track is Undercover of the Night. Great spin. Was an okay song. I enjoyed it, and I did not hate listening to it, but this does mark the moment And I'm not sure if there are other moments coming, though I am afraid there are other moments coming, but this is not an event anymore. My expectations are lowering, and I'm not hearing a band who have a lot to conquer, to discover. And I think that's a pity. It's a pity. But it's a pity. But it's not a horrible record. It's below average till mediocre. Well, that's my review. I'm curious, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment below and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!